Evolve back! Evolve back! Evolve back! Evolve back! Evolve back!
Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the latest in deck technology. And for today's deck tech, we'll be covering a cool pseudo-controlled style deck utilizing some tokens and some interesting unique strategies thanks to a new battle card that I'm going to just call Knights of Teferi. Normally, when you think of Teferi, you think of basically an Azorius style control deck, but hear me out for a second. What if we took the new Invasion of New Phyrexia card and see if we can utilize it to make a bunch of Knight tokens to overwhelm our opponent with Teferi as control support? If you're interested, stick around and I'll show you how this deck is meant to be played. Real quick, going over the stats, as you see, we have 2 actual regular creatures in the deck. We are running 33 non-creature spells. I did tell y'all, it is a control deck primarily, but otherwise, our average mana curve is going to be about 2.7. We have an Azorius style set of colors. We have 11 instants, 4 sorceries, 4 artifacts, 3 enchantments, 4 planeswalkers, 7 battles, with a total of 25 lands. So before we dive into the rest of the deck tech, let's highlight the main star of the show and why we're doing this whole deck in the first place. We're talking about Invasion of New Phyrexia. Invasion of New Phyrexia is a battle siege card with Azorius colors and X, where it says, when the Invasion of New Phyrexia enters the battlefield, create X 2/2 white and blue creature tokens with vigilance. If you manage to win the battle and flip it over with its defensive 6, you can flip it to Teferi Akosa of Zhalfir. Teferi here allows us to +1 to draw 2 cards, and then we discard 2 cards unless we discard a creature card. We can -2 to get an emblem that says Knights you control have +1/+0 and have ward 1, or we can -3 and have it tap X untapped creatures we control. When we do, shuffle target non-land permanent opponent controls with a mana value of X or less into its owner's library. Whew! I don't know about you, but that was a lot again to go through. Battles are so wordy. The simplest way of looking at this is you're just flipping New Phyrexia over, get a bunch of Knights, and again, hit your battle, flip them over, get a bunch of bonus effects from Teferi itself, and overwhelm our opponent to get to victory. Now, we are doing a whole playset of these, and the reason why is, as you can tell from the mana cost, it actually scales very well in the early, mid, or late game. So this is actually a really sweet card to have, and definitely an essential, so that's why we need all 4 copies. As far as our other cards that help us create Knights, we are going to be utilizing History of Benalia. So this is a cool little throwback. So this card, of course, will create as a saga some 2/2 white Knight creature tokens also with vigilance, and at the end we can get a giant pump of value from our Knights at the end of the saga. Invasion of Bellanon also is another battle siege, where as it enters the battlefield, it creates for us another 2/2 white blue Knight creature token with vigilance. We could flip this over. We also get another Anthem effect where all of our creatures get a +1/+1 ability. So you can tell just from these alone, we get a lot of super powerful benefits, but I'm not done yet. We're definitely gonna go into full jank mode here, and we're gonna be picking, as you can see on the end here, Circle of Loyalty. Oh yeah. You know we were going to have to do this. So Circle of Loyalty is a legendary artifact where it says the spell costs 1 less to cast for each Knight we control. Creatures we control get +1/+1, and whenever we cast a legendary spell, create a 2/2 white Knight creature token with vigilance. We can also tap it and pay 4 to create another white Knight creature token with vigilance. So with that, it will trigger off with cards like Teferi. It actually does trigger off when we flip our Invasion of New Phyrexia into actual battle Teferi. It also will trigger off with cards like Narset. So Circle of Loyalty actually gets some extra bonuses on top of that. But otherwise, most of the other cards are mostly what you would expect from an Azorius Control package. Even on a budget, we still do pretty well with ourselves. We have Make Disappear. This is great if we have to sacrifice a token. We can make it a much more powerful counter spell. Dovin's Veto, of course, is a staple here. Consider to help us filter through our deck as we draw cards and surveil. Portable Hole in the early game to take care of usually mana dorks or any kinds of chump blockers out of the way. We have a copy of Behold the Multiverse for the mid and late game to kind of help filter and draw what we need to in time. Another catch-all removal spell in Borrowed Time. Ardenvale Tactician is our only 2 cards that we actually have our actual creatures, but they're really sweet because we can tap at instant speed 2 creatures. Usually helps us get them out of the way so we can flip our battle a lot easier. Narset, of course, to help dig for what we need right here, which is going to be our Supreme Verdict. In those times where maybe our opponent is overwhelming us and we can't get our Knight creature tokens out in a pinch, the Supreme Verdict, of course, is going to be our catch-all Wrath removal. Teferi Hero Dominaria, you've seen this card many times. We had to have, of course, include it in the deck as another way to either finish off our opponent if our Knights cannot get through. And finally, Farewell. Farewell, of course, will help us just clear the board out if we really have to just start everything over from scratch. For your actual land base, Technically, you can cut the Castle Ardenvale here if you want to maintain the budget, but otherwise, it is helpful because we really could use sometimes an extra token or two just to give us a buffer while we're still building up our board, or at least help finish off our opponent. Plains, of course, islands, Port Town, which is great now that it's a budget option at uncommon instead of it actually being a rare land. Skybridge Tower, full set of Tranquil Cove, Broker's Hideout to help filter and get through more of our mana, Field of Ruin to pick off usually our pesky creature lands that we have to deal with in the match. And then as your sideboard, Deafening Silence to stop combo decks. It does kind of slow us down a bit, but because we are a control deck, usually we can work around this card. Ether Gust for enemy Gruul decks out there. Mystical Disputes can bring in case we deal with other enemy Azorius or blue tempo decks. A single copy of Fading Hope if sometimes we need to bounce like an aura creature or whatever out of the way. Soul Guide Lantern is here as our catch-all Graveyard Hate. Some Devout Decrees for the enemy Rakdos decks that are running rampant, an extra copy of Dovin's Veto, an extra copy of Borrowed Time, and also, this is also one of those flex spots. I highly recommend having this as an alternate win con in the best of 3 matches, Dream Trawler. But otherwise, that's the entire deck for you in a nutshell. I'll be honest, I really feel like this deck actually has some potential to it. When you see how this deck runs, you'll be surprised at how well it performs. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content so you don't miss out on any of the gameplay, booster pack openings, deck decks, and so much more. Okay, my fiery friends, here we go. We are playing our Knights of Teferi deck, and let's see what we got. Okay, so we do have plenty of lands. We do actually can make some Knights, so we have also a Wrath in case everything goes horribly wrong. So let's keep this and see if maybe we can draw into some of our other action. Okay, Forest, Elvish Mystic. Okay. Well, here we go again. We're playing against probably another one of those lovely devotion decks. Otherwise, let's Portable Hole, as we just did right now. Yep, it's another lovely deck. I really hate that Arena kind of just does this to us. Like, we can't play any other deck except just these creature decks. Just saying. We will then play Tranquil Cove, gain some life. At the very least, we actually do have a Farewell, so we can blow up the whole board. So we just have to kind of stall out for a bit before we can make our Knights work. Down to 20. Okay, another Portable Hole, that's fine. We will consider... Okay, we'll definitely take a Narset, and we will pass here. We need to save the Portable Hole in case they have any other Elvish Mystics. Port down. That's fine. Reveal the island. We then play Narset. If we can get a second Wrath here, that actually will be pretty good too. Circle of Loyalty. Not quite what we wanted just yet, but we'll take it. And then we want this to go down, so we'll just take out one token. This does mean we can at least get another hit off a Narset. Elvish Mystic.
Interesting technique.
Alright. Trigger again. We lose our Narsets. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, it's tempting right now. I think we probably might want the Invasion of New Phyrexia. So we're going to keep that. Broker's Hideout. We then can get another island. And we will pass here. We actually have enough now. We can get Circle of Loyalty just hard casted. I think that actually might be better for us. Lovestruck Beast. Alright, we're down to 18. Another island. That's cool. Alright, so with that, Circle of Loyalty. Alright, now we're in business. Opponent's probably looking at us like, what the heck? Okay, our opponent is playing out their whole hand. This is perfect for us. Ooh, we got the Supreme Verdict. Okay. Blow up the board. Alright, now we're really good here. Let us then play Invasion of Belenon. Alright, so our first Knight's on board, everybody. Our opponent is stumbling on mana, but this is actually working out for us. Okay, so with that, History of Benalia. Make another Knight. We can also activate to make another Knight. It's actually working. The deck is actually working. Okay, we're just going to go for the invasion first off. Okay, puts it down to there. Okay, next turn we can then put out Invasion of New Phyrexia, and we can make a ton of Knights. Lovestruck Beast. Make another Knight. Okay, so with that, we are playing... Okay, so 1, 2, 4. We'll do it for 4 because we want to have enough for the consider. Make a ton of knights here. We're going good here. This is great. Okay, this is perfect. Okay. Okay, we will swing at everything here. What will they stop us from flipping? I'm betting they're gonna stop it. Okay. This casts it off. Oh my god, we're actually doing it here. This triggers off Circle of Loyalty. Yes. Okay. We will then... Oh my gosh, we got there. We did it. We overwhelmed Mono Green Devotion. That was so awesome. Okay, that was what the deck wanted to do, everybody. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, my fiery friends, here we go. We are playing our Knights of Teferi deck, a budget control style deck. And, well, we don't really have much of anything here. We have a lot of control cards, not really anything involving Teferi. But we probably might want to keep this just in case. Let's see what our opponent is trying to do. Okay, so our opponents looks like they're going to mulligan just a little bit. And we'll play Broker's Hideout. So we'll go ahead and get on of our planes. Alright, gain a little life. Opponent's turn. Okay, looks like Rule aggro, I'm guessing? I guess we'll find out right now in a bit. So we'll play our islands. So now we have our Dovin's Veto mana. Second land of more elves. Will that resolve? We have the Supreme Verdict, so we're not too worried here. Oh, okay, it's dinosaurs. Okay, that's pretty kino. I like that. Okay, so with that, we will let that resolve. Let's see, another Broker's Hideout. We're definitely going to need this now for the mana. Get our island. All right. So we're poised right now to just wipe the whole board. Marauding Raptor. Ripjaw Raptor. Let's see. Well, actually, we'll counter that. Okay, so they do pay. So there's nothing else for them to actually play out at this point. They'll be able to draw a card here. It does look a little scary, but we're actually fine. Down to 18. Alright, this is perfect. Okay, so this Supreme Verdict. Board's wiped. Would really, right now, would like one of our Teferi cards. Ooh, okay. Opponent playing a new Rampaging Raptor. That's pretty awesome, too. Okay, but we also have an option for that, too. Borrow time. Get that off the field. Planes down, and we pass. We really could use one of our Teferi cards right now. This would be perfect. Oh, okay. Invasion of Bellinon's nice. We'll play this. We'll make our first knight, and we'll pass here. If we could just build up a board right now, we're in a perfect spot. I'm gonna go swinging. No blocks. Farewell. We'll swing at the invasion. We're gonna need the pump in a bit. Okay, our opponent flipped. Okay, actually they are, I guess, just Gruul. Alright. We're in a bad spot right here, actually, right now. Okay. We have our portable hole, but there's nothing really we could use on it for. This is awkward. Okay. Actually, I think we lose here.
Well, this stinks.
Yeah, we kind of lost. Oh well. We tried, everybody. Alright, my fiery friends, here we go. We're playing our Knights of Teferi deck. This control deck has quite a few options to it, but right now, no knights in hand, but we do have a lot of control options to get us to where we need to be. So let's keep this and see what happens. Okay, our opponent's got Jingotha, so... Bird deck? Oh, okay. This might be the... What is this? The Boros aggro deck? I have no idea anymore. In any case, let us then play... Actually, we'll play the Broker's Hideout. So we'll play this, and we will get an island. Gain some life. Pass the turn. Playing a Snarl, so I guess they don't really have an optimal mana base, which actually might work out in our favor too, because our mana base, of course, is janky. Alright, a Pathway land. Monastery Swift here. Yep, looks like it might be the Boros aggro deck, which is fine. Ancestral Anger. They draw a card. Get a little pump off of it. We do have removal, at least, for this, so this should be fine for the time being. Okay, so put a planes down. We will then play Portable Hole. Get rid of that Swiss Sphere, so they have no target for their spells. Illuminator Virtuoso. Ooh, okay. But we also have an answer for that too, so this is actually pretty sweet. So first off, we'll put down another island. Portable Hole number 2. Get rid of that. We'll then foretell the Behold the Multiverse and pass. Opponent, do you have any more answers? Ooh, they do. Okay, that's fine. Favorite Hoplite. We can then get an Island down. Narset. This at least slows down their card draw. We will tick down. We need a Wrath. Okay. We got a Wrath. Nice. Okay. So hopefully our opponent will tap out here just to get rid of Narset, because that's always a nice distraction against our opponent. Figurated Rampage. They can't draw a card, so this actually gives us a little bit of time to buy. They have to connive, so they basically throw away a card and do not get any value out of it. Alright. They, of course, want to take out Narset. So they hit us. Definitely hurts for a bit, but we'll be okay, everybody.
I was not prepared.
Okay, and we have a Farewell, too, so this is actually pretty sweet. Gain a little life, so we'll pass. Let's see what our opponent tries to do here. They go swinging. Behold the Multiverse. Well, 2 lands. Not ideal. But we'll keep that. Down to 9. Down to 5. And we'll pass here. Okay. So, this is the turn, everybody. So, what we're going to need to do here is we need to play our Field of Ruin. We have enough now for Farewell, so we will Farewell the board. Exiling the graveyards, exiling the creatures. Nothing our opponent has is going to be able to survive this. So this buys us time. As long as they don't have any kind of hasty creature, we should be okay. Never mind. I kind of bluffed myself there. Down to 3. Okay, so we have an Invasion of Belladon. Okay, I think we play Narset. Portable Hole here will be excellent. Ooh, we actually got it. Okay. Okay, our opponent most likely should have something in hand here. We can... Well, we're going to have to go for it. Okay. Portable Hole. Okay, so they do protect it. That's fine. We're going to have to go full control here so that they do get the protection. We put down a Tranquil Cove. Gain some life back. Alright, we pass here. Immediately Ardent Veil Tactician. They have 1 card in hand. Okay. We're good. We bought ourselves a turn. Or maybe not. What does our opponent get? They have 1 card in hand. Even if they have a pump spell, unless if it's something that actually gives it power, we still can survive a turn here. Oh man, this is so close. Okay. Dig. I guess we'll take the borrow time. Blow up the board. Okay. We're surviving. Not by much, but we'll take it. Invasion of Belladon. Make a knight. Island down. Okay, we have a little bit of defense. We're literally living on the edge here, everybody. Ooh, okay, they're bringing in their Jingotha, so that's actually a good sign for us. Ardent Veil Tactician. Plains. We swing at our invasion. Alright, and then we pass. Opponent's got 2 cards in hand we don't know of. Dreadhorde Arcanist. I think we'll let it resolve. Okay. Well, we can borrow time now, finally, the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Unless our opponent has the protection here. Do they have it? Is this it, opponent? Reckless Rage. Okay. We Dovin's veto that. Get that out of the way. Swing here. Flip the invasion. Get a little bit more pump, and we're passing the turn here. Okay, we've finally stabilized, I think. I think we finally got out of this. We can then counterspell and make disappear the Jingotha. And that's out of here. Ooh, we finally got the new invasion. Okay, perfect. We can then invasion this. So how much do we have here? We got 1, 2. Let's see how much. Okay, 7? I think that's it. Okay. We made a ton of night tokens. This is perfect. Okay. We swing here. We flip. Oh my god, it's actually working. This is beautiful. Yes, we got there. We beat them. We stabilized. Oh my goodness, that was great. That was beautiful, everybody. Oh, I'm so glad we did that. What a way to finish it. And there you have it, everybody. So that was our Knights of Teferi deck for you. So let me know, what do you think? I actually did enjoy playing this deck quite a bit. Normally, for those of you who stick around to this point in the video, yes, we usually do a set of upgrades for the deck. I'm not going to really suggest too much because this deck is still a little experimental, even with the upgrade. So I won't recommend much, except just as always, upgrade your mana base and you'll be perfectly fine with what we have. Still, for those of you that also want to maintain a much more budget tight build, you really can't cut too much on this. It's mostly going to come down to either just getting rid of the Castle Ardenvale, or you're going to probably want to just cut the Dream Trawler. At least with those, you're going to be at a much more minimum price of about 12 rares, which, if you've seen my channel enough, that's usually what I consider as the standard for budget decks going forward. Of course, for those of you that are still fascinated by battles, yes, it's still going to be a little while before we finally find the most optimized way to use them. This deck, however, does try them in a much more different way with a control shell, so I highly recommend, if you're playing around with this stuff, this is now the best time to kind of just start figuring things out. I still think that what we have mostly works out, but again, if you're fascinated by maybe looking at it in a different way, let me know below. Maybe we can reevaluate this deck down the line when we get maybe some more cards. Probably once we get to Eldraine, we'll definitely have a lot more Knight support to work with. But otherwise, my final thoughts on the deck are, yes, it is a little clunky and weird because, well, we're not leaning completely into a control package, but at the same time, we're not also fully a token deck either. I don't know about you, but you saw from the gameplay footage itself, it speaks and says basically that while it is a super janky way to look at Azorius Control, I definitely had a lot of fun playing this deck, and I also really enjoyed the gameplay that it kind of performs for us. However, you tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Are you a fan of this new style of battle cards? Do you think that maybe we need to tweak one way or the other with this style of deck? Let me know in the comments below, and I would love to hear from you. Oh, and before I go, just hang in there, everybody. In the next week or so, I'm also going to be going on a small vacation, so we'll probably pump out a lot more shorts over by the beginning of May, so just keep that in mind for those of you that constantly watch my content. I do apologize, but we will still keep churning out stuff to give you a lot more entertainment going forward. But my only other final thing I'm just going to say about this deck is, if you are a fan of Teferi, if you're a fan of control decks out there, but maybe you want to look at a different way of playing that style, give this deck a try. And I assure you, when you run over your opponent with an entire army of knights led by Teferi, you will definitely not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone. And just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later.